The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, an American classical novel. This is what we shall know in today's capsule summary. Hello, this is Hina from Team Vallath. How are you doing? The Adventures of Tom Sawyer is written by Samuel Langhorne Clemens. That actually is the original name of Mark Twain. Mark Twain is his nautical name, basically related to water. You know Mark Twain, an American author, the father of American literature. This title was given to him by William Faulkner. So Mark Twain is called the father of American literature. He lived from 1835 to 1910. And his novel, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, was published in the year 1876. Okay. The genre of Tom Sawyer is Bildungsroman and picaresque. Now, what is Bildungsroman? It talks about the growth, the moral, the psychological, and the philosophical growth of the hero. Here, the hero is Tom Sawyer. And it's a picaresque novel because Tom Sawyer is roguish, which means mischievous. But let me tell you, he has a heart of gold, okay? The setting of Tom Sawyer is Missouri in USA. The name of the town is Hannibal. St. Petersburg, if I make it very clear, St. Petersburg, Hannibal, Missouri, USA, okay? And the year of action is 1840s. Narrator is third person omniscient, okay? Easy. Can we start now with the summary? Tom Sawyer is a young orphan boy. He lives with Sid, who is his mean younger brother, very mean, very selfish, and Mary, who is a well-mannered angelic cousin. So who all live? Sid, Mary, and Tom. They all live with their Aunt Polly. Basically, Aunt Polly is a spinster sister of Tom's deceased mother. So Hindi mein bolu to Aunt Polly is Tom's masi. Okay. She is strict, but she's warm-hearted towards Tom. Tom does so much mischief. He's a trickster. He keeps on stealing sweets from Aunt Polly's closet. But then still, she does punish him, but then she is warm-hearted also towards her nephew, okay? So now, Tom is a trickster who leads his friends into various adventures. He is clever, but never intends to hurt others. And this novel shows his growth from a carefree to a careful young man. Here we bring one theme of the novel, and the theme is boyhood rebellion. How, when you are young, you want to rebel against society. You have that reverse psychology that if you are told something, you might not do that thing. You might do something else. That is boyhood rebellion, one of the themes in this novel. Okay. So now I have made it very easy. I have listed the various adventures which are lived by Tom. Okay. I've actually done it like adventure number 1, 2, 3, 4. So you will like it. Okay. Let's start with adventure number 1 of Tom Sawyer. Now, what is the cause of this adventure? Tom has been skipping school, stealing sweets, and sneaking in and out of house late at night. The result is Aunt Polly punishes him by ordering that he should whitewash the fence of their house on Saturday. Now, Aunt Polly, let me tell you, the year of action is 1840s, when corporal punishment or physical punishment was very common. Hitting, slapping. Aunt Polly did not believe truly in corporal punishment, as she quotes from the Bible, spare the rod, spoil the child. So she punished Tom by saying that you have to whitewash the fence. What is the adventure that Tom leads? Tom tricks his neighbors and his friends into believing that painting a fence is a very enjoyable activity. And not just that, they pay him with their favorite objects to paint. Can you imagine? So they are painting also, and they are paying also to paint. Here, let's listen to the lines of the narrator. He, that is Tom, had discovered a great law of human action. That is, in order to make a man covet a thing, it is necessary to make the thing difficult to attain. So if you want somebody to yearn to attain a thing, you have to make that thing very difficult to attain. Okay. Now, Tom uses these objects or trinkets that he has earned from these people to buy prestige at Sunday school. Sunday school basically is the religious school where you read about scriptures, Holy Bible, where you listen to the teachings, etc. So now what does Tom do? He wants to show off. He wants to, buy prestige. He does not know a word from the Bible, let me tell you, okay? But he buys prestige at this school How? He buys tickets that are earned from memorizing scripture. So basically, whoever memorized scriptures, they got tickets. And if you collect a lot of tickets, you are gifted with the Holy Bible. So now what did Tom do? He bought these tickets with the trinkets that he got. And from these tickets, he earned an honorary Bible. Here, the theme is showing off, prestige, power. But his adventure goes wrong here because when Judge Thatcher asks him the names of Jesus's first two disciples, he responds incorrectly. He knows nothing. Adventure gone wrong. Done with adventure number one. Let's move to adventure number two. Tom has a friend named Huck or Huckleberry Finn. Remember this character, very important because I will start with this novel summary soon. The name of this novel will be The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. This is the sequel to the novel The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Did you understand? So in Tom Sawyer, there is this character, Huck or Huckleberry Finn. Let's listen about Huck's life. Huck's father is a heavy drunkard who hardly cares for him. So Huck has independence of not attending school, not bathing, sleeping outdoors, smoking, doing as he likes. Let's listen to what the narrator says. Quote, Huckleberry was cordially hated by all the mothers of the town because he was idle and lawless and vulgar and bad, and because all their children admired him so and delighted in his forbidden society and wished they dared to be like him. Huck is the role model for Tom as well. Now, let's start the adventure. The two, that is, Tom and Huck, believe in superstitions. On a Monday night, they visit the town's graveyard to find a cure for warts. So, warts basically is a problem in the skin. To find a cure for this wart, both of them have gone to a graveyard. Can you imagine? But what do they witness there? Unluckily, they witness a murder there. What happens? A fight begins among the grave robbers. There are three grave robbers here. What are the names of the grave robbers? Injun Joe, very important character, Muff Potter, and Dr. Robinson. Injun Joe is the villain of this novel. He is half Native American. Now, what does he do? Between this fight, Injun Joe stabs Dr. Robinson, but very cleverly hands over the knife to the drunkard Muff Potter. Oh God. So now it is the Muff Potter who has been told that you are the murderer. But in reality, who is the murderer? Injun Joe. The murder scares the boys greatly and they vow never to tell anyone about it. Here, adventure number two finishes. Okay. Now let's listen to a little bit what's happening in Tom's life in school. Tom develops a crush on a new blonde girl in the school whose name is Becky Thatcher. She is the rich and slightly spoiled daughter of Judge Thatcher. Remember Judge Thatcher from the Sunday school? Now, Becky Thatcher reciprocates Tom's flirtations until she comes to know that he already had a girlfriend in the past. The name of that girlfriend was Amy Lawrence. And then she becomes cold towards Tom. Okay, and this brings us to adventure number 3 of Tom, which is on Jackson's Island. Disappointed by Becky's rejection, Tom runs away to live as a pirate on Jackson's Island. This Jackson's Island is a small island on the Mississippi River. Here we come to the theme of fantasy. How children fantasize things when they are little. So basically, Tom now wants to become a pirate. He wants to live a carefree life on the sea. He is accompanied on this island by his friends Joe Harper and Huck. Here, let's listen to what narrator says for Tom. He would be a pirate. That was it. Now his future lay plain before him and glowing with unimaginable splendor. How his name would fill the world and make people shudder, which means people will be scared listening to the name of this pirate Tom. He will loot, he will be on the sea, he will travel. That is what he thinks. Now, what happens? He likes this life of solitude, living away from town just for some time, because after that, boredom sets in. How it is with kids, they start an activity, they get bored, they again want to do something else. So he's bored of the pirate life. He's bored of living here on the island. So once at night, he secretly visits his town, St. Petersburg, where he finds that everyone is mourning. Everyone in the town, his family, believes that the children are dead, they have drowned, and they are preparing for the funeral of the boys. So now what does Tom think? He wants to evolve as a hero. He decides to appear on the day of the funeral to surprise everyone, and he does it with his friends. And can you imagine? They are welcomed as heroes. The townspeople are happy to welcome the boys back. And this creates a lot of jealousy among Tom's peers. Okay, understood? Adventure number 3 done here. Now, I want to justify how this novel is a Bildungsroman, which means how it talks about the growth of the hero, Tom. I have given 2 instances here. First, Tom is a mischief, but he has a heart of gold. How? I'll tell you. One day at school, he takes the blame in place of Becky when she mistakenly tears a page of their teacher's anatomy book. So Becky tears the page of teacher, Mr. Dobbin's anatomy book. But who takes the blame? Who takes the hitting? Who takes the punishment? Tom, because of which what happens? Becky has a change of heart and she starts liking him. Listen to the lines by the narrator. When he stepped forward to go to his punishment, the surprise, the gratitude, the adoration that shone upon him out of poor Becky's eyes seemed pay enough for 100 floggings. Understood? And the second instance where I will tell you this novel is a Bildungsroman is Tom desires to be a hero. He is influenced by the brave stories he has heard as a child. So what does he do to show his bravery? During Muff Potter's trial, remember Muff Potter, who has been wrongly taken in the prison to be the murderer of Dr. Robinson? So during Muff Potter's trial, Tom's conscience encourages him to tell the truth. And with courage, he stands as a witness in the court and says that the murder was committed not by Muff, but by this Injun Joe. And the result is Muff is acquitted of the murder, which means he's free. But unluckily, this villain Joe, this villainous man, escapes through the window of the court, which means he cannot be jailed. He cannot be punished. He has escaped. Easy? Let's move on to the next adventure of Tom, adventure number 4. Tom decides to be the new Robin Hood. You know, he wants to loot the rich, and does he want to really help the poor? We don't know. But then he fantasizes now that he wants to become Robin Hood. So he convinces Huck to come with him to a haunted house in search of a treasure. But to their surprise, again, whom do they find in that haunted house? Injun Joe. अरे villain है तो बार बार आएगा तो ना story में. So Injun Joe is present already in that haunted house with a stranger. Injun Joe has disguised himself as a mock Spanish. Mock means deaf and dumb. And what is he doing actually there? He is burying his loot there. But what the boys see after this is overwhelming. While Injun Joe is digging, he finds a treasure chest full of gold underneath the floor. Matlab, he finds full gold inside this building. So Injun leaves the house with this loot and goes away to a place called Number 2. Tom wants to know what is Number 2. Tom does not know. And this takes us to the last adventure of the story, adventure number 5 in MacDougall's cave. The children go for a picnic to a cave called as MacDougall's cave. Inside the cave, who will Tom spot? Again, the villain. Villain has to come again. So Tom spots Injun Joe again inside the cave. But here, he overhears Injun's plan of murdering a wealthy widow of the town. Who is this wealthy widow? Her name is the Widow Douglas. Okay. So Tom hears that Widow Douglas will be murdered by Injun Joe because her late husband was the justice of the peace of the town. Now, Huck here is very moved. Huck, remember Huckleberry Finn? Huck is moved by hearing about this murder, this planned murder, the planning of which is going on. See, Lady Douglas had showed kindness to Huck once upon a time, not just once, but twice. So Huck was showed kindness by Lady Douglas on many occasions. And to repay this favor, he runs out of the cave to prevent the crime. And thank God the crime is averted, which means Lady Douglas is not hurt. Meanwhile, something happens in the cave because it is such a huge cave. There are so many turns, so many, deep places inside that Tom and Becky get lost. Soon they run out of food, they run out of water, and they fear for their lives. But eventually, Tom finds the exit, the children return home, and Judge Thatcher makes sure that this cave is closed forever. This brings us to the end of the adventures of Tom Sawyer. When Tom realizes that the cave has been closed, Injun Joe must still be inside the cave. He and Huck run inside the cave to search for him, but they find Injun Joe dead. The villain is dead. Let's listen to the lines by the narrator. Quote, Injun Joe lay stretched upon the ground dead, with his face close to the crack of the door, as if his longing eyes had been fixed to the latest moment upon the light and the cheer of the free world outside. Tom was touched, for he knew by his own experience how his wretch had suffered, how this wretch had suffered. So basically, Tom is now empathizing with the dead Injun Joe. Only after death of Injun Joe, this Injun, the ignored Injun, is forgiven by the townspeople. And here another theme is discussed, society's hypocrisy. Okay? Now, along with the dead body of Injun Joe, what do Tom and Huck find inside the cave? The treasure chest full of gold, remember? So they find the treasure, they keep the gold, get respected throughout St. Petersburg as wealthy and courageous and young men. In the end, Huck, our Huckleberry Finn, is adopted by Widow Douglas, who raises him to be civil and obedient. Huck hates it. He hates to be civil and obedient, remember? Because he's that carefree boy. He longs for his lost independence. But on the urge of Tom, Huck agrees to stay with Lady or Widow Douglas. And we are done with the adventures of Tom Sawyer. Its sequel is The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which shall also come soon because we have started with the most important summaries of works related to American literature. I hope you enjoyed today's session. If you did, do comment in the comment section below. Thank you so much. This is Hina from Team Vallath. Keep watching and of course, subscribe to our channel if you haven't and share it with your friends and relatives. Bye-bye.